are a ton of lakes. So if you wanted to go out on the lake this weekend because the weather is going to be beautiful, just look up a different one. But yeah, maybe Ford Lake isn't the one to go to. That algae looked pretty intimidating.
Yeah, better be safe than sorry, certainly. And yeah, you're right. There are other places to enjoy. And that's a consequence that comes with a beautiful stagnant weather pattern. We have consequences. We have things like that. We have deficit in our rainfall for the month by almost 1.5 inches on the month alone. That is what we're behind. So we are starting to enter an abnormally dry drought situation south of I-94, and we're going to continue to see that probably grow here as there's very little rain to speak of in the next week or so. Morning fog, that's what we've been talking about each morning. Patchy fog across Metro Detroit, kind of fighting that this morning. And then the summer warmth continues as we talked about the next rain chance. We'll be watching it for next week. It does look like at this point, forecast models are saying more scattered than widespread, but again, we have days to be watching this. Temperatures yesterday made it into the low to a couple of mid-80s, made it to 85 in Adrian, 82 at Metro Airport, and also in Pontiac, 81 was a high in Ann Arbor. What's interesting is we look at the string or stretch of 80-plus degree days for the month of September and whether this is unusual or not. Well, I went back to 2020. We had 3 80-degree days in a row. That's not for the entire month. That's just in a row. The most we've had in recent years is 6 back in 2022. We're at 5 as of yesterday, and we're forecasting those 80-degree temperatures all through next week. So I would say yes, definitely a bit unusual to see this type of stretch of consistent 80-degree temperatures. 61 degrees are low so far, 56 is average, and 75, if you're kind of wondering what the average high is, mid-70s in fact. 62 is where we are right now, and a northeast wind at 5 miles per hour. Seeing some fog around Pontiac. We're at 61 degrees. It is 55 for you in Monroe. 65 mild degrees right now, waking up, heading out in Mount Clemens this early, and 59 degrees in Port Huron. So visibility an issue, about 1.5 miles visibility right now in Port Huron, down to a 1/2 mile in Monroe and 6 mile in Adrian. So we are seeing it around, and you can see continuously changing, and it will prior to sunrise. We need the sun to come up, kind of burn that off. We don't have much wind to help out. So again, it's going to stay foggy a little bit longer. Looking at some high clouds on the west side of the state near Lake Michigan. All the rain is down to our south, still turning around the extratropical low of Francine, and this will continue to move up the Gulf states. But for us, again, it's going to be beautiful weather. It's going to be warm weather, certainly for football. So we're talking about a noon kickoff at the Big House in Ann Arbor. Temperatures for the kickoff time, upper 70s, low 80s by the end of the game. And as you can imagine, very similar forecast for a 3:30 kickoff in East Lansing. Temperatures will be in the low 80s, so a warm day for college football. Looking at this turning down to our south, we were looking at some cloud cover maybe coming up, but a lot of this gets shut down with a blocking pattern of high pressure here in the Great Lakes. So we're going to stay dry, and we're going to go back and forth between some high clouds at times, and but dry weather will continue. One thing you may notice, beautiful sunrises and sunsets. The wildfire smoke very high in the atmosphere. It's not affecting our air quality at this point, but it is giving us those beautiful sunrise and sunsets across the Great Lakes. Temperatures in the low 80s on Monday and Tuesday. We'll look for at least a chance for a few showers, hopefully by then, because we need it on